Hey, welcome back, everybody. I hope you guys had a great holiday weekend. It's Tuesday at noon, and I'm going to be doing another Freight Broker Bootcamp Live. Thank you for joining me. If you're catching this on replay, hit me in the comments with hashtag replay. I'd love to hear from my replay folks. But for those of you that are here now, we're going to talk about 5 freight broker sales tools that are designed to help you get more shippers in 2023. Okay. So we're going to talk all about tools today. These are all online tools that you can use to enhance your business. They come in a variety of different categories. Some of them are going to be, I don't want to spill the popcorn in the lobby here, but we are going to go over 5 tools with you today. And so thank you for joining me. I hope you guys had a great holiday weekend. I did. I know we had beautiful weather here in Buffalo, which is kind of an oddity, but we did. We had great weather. So spent a lot of time with the family, friends, in the pool, hanging out. You can probably see I got a little bit too much sun. And yeah, so here we are. We couldn't do it yesterday because obviously it was a holiday and everybody was busy with family and friends. But today we're going to go over 5 freight broker sales tools that are designed to help you get more shippers. Now, what you have to understand is this. There are hundreds and hundreds and probably thousands of different sales tools out there, okay? Available, depending upon your industry, depending upon, your budget, depending upon, a whole bunch the features and all that, okay? So there's a whole bunch of different, some are startups, some are more established companies. There are tons of tools. I could spend probably the better part of a whole year going over sales tools. Okay. But the fact is, I'm just going to share with you 5 today. Right. But I'm going to share with you 5 that I have intimate knowledge of. These are tools that, that I've used or know well, or have gotten a lot of great feedback from or about. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Hit me up in the comments. I'll give you a quick shout out before we get started. Again, I'm in the Buffalo, New York area. We have Sea of Freight Solutions in Larry from Amarillo, Texas. Joe Momighty from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Welcome. Mark Neese from Pittsfield, Maine. Welcome. Ozan from Lincoln, Nebraska. As always, Vadim from Oakland, California. Hey, Derek, how are you? I'm doing well. We've got Connor from Armenia. Welcome, Connor. I love it when people join me from other lands, especially knowing they've got a time difference and all that. So, oh, yeah, Derek's from Kuwait. That's right. Derek, how are you? Yeah, we got to chat offline. We were messaging on LinkedIn, so we got to finish that conversation. I do remember now. Papa Bear in a Chair from Kansas City, Missouri. Tara May from Avondale, Arizona. Sharon Dixon from San Antonio, Texas. Rolando from the Dominican Republic. Awesome. We got people from all over the place. I love it. It's awesome. Well, we're going to let a few more people get live, and then we're going to start the training. And I'm actually going to be sharing my screen to actually show you. We can't do a demo, but I'm going to show you the websites of each one of these tools so you guys can, know where to go and to check them out at your own time. So I did not grab a drink, and I normally have one. So I'm just going to have to deal with it here, right? So we got T-Rod from Dallas, Texas. Lewis from El Centro, California. Awesome. All right. Well, we've got enough people live now. Most people are going to catch this on replay. So give me 1 second here, and we're going to start this ball rolling. We're going to get the show on the road here. Okay. Let me just make sure we're good to go. That I have everything. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, hold on. Well, give me 1 second. Okay, cool. All right. So I think I got everything good to go. So let's share my screen. Actually, before we do that, I'll probably do the quick intro. Nah, we'll just do it. Let's see. Share screen here. Where am I? Why am I not seeing this? Oh, present, share screen. Here it is. Okay. Oh, of course. Sorry, guys. Give me 1 second. Oh, Lord. Really? We can't do that. All right. Well, hopefully this works. All right. Give me 1 second, guys. Apologize. Entire screen. Okay. So here we go. First, thank you for joining me. Again, apologize for the minor little delay here. We are going to get started in just a minute. I'm going to be sharing with you 5 freight broker sales tools that are designed to help you get more shippers in 2023. Okay. So I think we're good to go. And I got to set this up obviously for the replay. So I'm going to redo the announcement. For those of you that are just joining me, thank you so much for being here. Today, I'm going to share with you 5 freight broker sales tools that every freight broker needs to know about if you're serious about getting new customers, new shippers in 2023 and beyond. So let me share my screen really quick and we'll get this show on the road. All right, the first tool on the list, I hope you guys can see that. Share screen. Let's see. Are you seeing it? No, you're not. Apologize, guys, for whatever reason. All right, you know what we're going to do? We're going to fill these in after the fact. That's what we're going to do. We're going to fill these in after the fact, okay? So I'm not going to be able to show you the actual websites, but I am going to share with you the tools and the names of the tools and the companies and the URLs, okay? So I am going to share that with you today, but a minor technical difficulty. We got to kind of go with the flow here. So let me jump back into this. Thank you for joining me today. I'm going to share with you 5 freight broker sales tools that are designed to help you get more shippers in 2023 and beyond, okay? The first one is called Zoom Info, all right? Now, Zoom Info, you can go to zoominfo.com. Zoom Info is a database. It is basically a data company that gives you access to a huge and extremely accurate and robust database of any type of business that you're looking for. So if your niche is the produce industry, or your niche is the steel industry, or your niche is in the Northeast or the Southwest, you can identify those shipping leads, those shipping prospects, those companies. And not only do you get the company data, but you'll also get access to the actual executives and people that work within that organization. So it's an extremely powerful tool. I have never used it myself, but I've spoken with 3 different people that I know who are very impressed with Zoom Info. And you definitely want to check that out because it is an extremely powerful tool. Now, I will warn you up front, it is not cheap. It's on the more expensive side. So if you are a true startup, it may or may not be a good fit for you. But if you've been in business for a little bit and you're spending a lot of time searching Google and you really want to ramp up your sales, getting access to good quality data is a very important step, okay? I know we used to spend a ton of money on data for leads and sales for our team and for our agents, and we always had a great ROI. So zoominfo.com, check it out there, okay? That's number 1 on the list. All right, number 2 is hunter.io, all right? So I've put together a special deal with them. All you have to do is go to freightbrokerbootcamp.com/hunter, okay? And you'll get the best pricing and the best deal you can possibly get are available online. So hunter.io is another data company, but they focus on allowing you and giving you access to email addresses. So if you need to find one of your prospects' email addresses, or you're connected with somebody on LinkedIn and you want to email them, it is an email database that allows you to go search by company, and then you can identify the emails of your prospects. All right. It's a very affordable tool. It's a lot less expensive than a Zoom Info. Now, granted, it doesn't give you access to the same amount of data or the same type of data, but hunter.io is something I've used personally, works extremely well, very reputable company, affordable. And if you need access to email addresses for your prospects or for your people that are in your pipeline, you definitely want to check out hunter.io. Now you can go to freightbrokerbootcamp.com/hunter for whatever special deal they have going at that time. Okay. That'll directly bring you to it. Okay. All right. Number three is kind of an unusual tool. It's more so designed for small teams. If you have a sales team and maybe you've got 1 or 2 or 3 sales reps or more, it's called gong.io. That's gong.io. Gong.io is designed, and it's an AI tool that actually records your sales calls. Okay. So imagine that you're on the phone with a prospect or with a customer, and it records your sales calls and allows you not only to, have them recorded and play back, but it has AI built into it to show and to analyze those calls and break those calls down to determine where your sales reps are effective or not effective. When the sale gets derailed, or when sales go in the right direction, you can understand what happened and why. So it allows you to really micro analyze your sales calls, the actual calls themselves. See, there's a big difference between role playing, you and I role playing, versus actually the actual dialogue that goes on in a sales call, in a live sales call. And that's what gong.io can record for you and leverage AI to break down and give you a lot of data and insight on how to improve those sales calls and campaigns and all of your sales reps. Okay. So gong.io is number 3. Number 4, you may or may not have heard of this. You probably have. Zoom.us. Now, Zoom is one of the most popular video conferencing tools, right? It's a video conferencing tool. They have a bunch of other stuff, but predominantly for sales, what we're doing is we're looking at virtual meetings, right? Those types of things, maybe webinars, but predominantly virtual meetings, virtual calls, but it's video driven. So not only is it audio, but it's video, right? That can be an extremely powerful tool, right? Extremely powerful tool in sales, because remember, people like people. You got to know, like, and trust. So in order to build that know, like, and trust, it's always easier when you can put a face to the name, right? And when you have FaceTime. And it's not realistic to always do outside sales where you're meeting them face to face at their location or some neutral location. But Zoom bridges the distance between that. Those types of video conferencing tools like Zoom are designed to try to help you build rapport faster with your prospects. If I were selling brokerage today, I would heavily leverage Zoom or some sort of a virtual meeting software, video streaming calling system like Zoom. So you definitely want to check out zoom.us. Okay. That's number 4. Number 5, this is a CRM. Now, a customer relationship management tool. This is where salespeople live, and it's called Zoho CRM. Okay. Now, there are tons of CRMs out there, and I've mentioned some of them in the past, and I probably have mentioned Zoho. But the reason why I like Zoho, particularly for startups, is because it's extremely cost effective, right? You're not talking about hundreds or thousands of dollars a month like some different products are. Zoom is very cost effective. It's extremely robust. It's very fast, right? They're very innovative in their technological componentry and the features that they build into it. They've done a great job. Zoho has been around for a long time. I've personally used Zoho. I know a lot of other people that use Zoho. I think if you're looking for a CRM, which is a customer relationship management tool, that is basically where you're going to, it's a repository for all of your sales data. For example, all of the prospects that you're reaching out to, all of the prospects you're talking to, everybody you're emailing, all of your customer related data, all of the conversations and data associated with your inbound or outbound sales efforts go into Zoho CRM. So I would strongly recommend that you guys check that out. That is number 5 on the list. Now, I'm going to give you a bonus tip. All right. If you want a bonus tip, I want you to hang around here. We went through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is number 6. This is the bonus tip that I really think you guys need to start leveraging, and it's called Owler, owler.com, Owler. Okay. And Owler is a sales intelligence tool. Now, what do I mean by a sales intelligence tool? A sales intelligence tool allows you to follow and access company data and information that's timely and relevant and contextual. For example, if you had a big customer and say your customer was, Coca-Cola, I'm just going to use a big company. You would be able to follow Coca-Cola in your Owler account, and it would give you updates on any sort of new sales data or information. If they hired a new executive, if they launched a new product, if they opened a new location, if a new press release came out, any articles mentioning them. So it's a repository for sales intelligence on specific companies that you want to follow. So what are the types of companies you would follow as a freight broker? You would follow, number 1, your customers. You always want to be on top of that. And number 2, your prospects, people that you are trying to bring on board as a customer. So gathering that sales intelligence, you guys have heard me probably talk about this many, many times in the past. Sales intelligence is one of the most important steps when you're doing outbound sales. All right. Whether you're doing that through LinkedIn, whether you're doing that through email, whether you're doing that through phone, however you're doing it, okay? Gathering sales intelligence. And to me, sales intelligence is just data that enhances the opportunity for you to get the sale, right? So any sort of information that you can gather, there's a lot of great places you can gather sales intelligence. What Owler does is it aggregates all that sales intelligence for you and then notifies you anytime one of your existing customers or prospects has anything important going on, right? So that's the type of information that you can use to differentiate yourself from the competition. So we'll run through them really quick. Number 1 was ZoomInfo. You can check that out. That's the data company that can give you access to hundreds of thousands of leads in your niche, depending upon what your niche is. Number 2, Hunter.io. You can check that out at freightbrokerbootcamp.com/Hunter. That's where you can get access to email addresses, the very difficult to find email addresses for prospects and customers that you're trying to do email outreach to. Number 3, Gong.io. That is that AI technology that records your calls and gives you all kinds of insight into those sales calls to help you improve your sales conversations and to improve the skills of the salespeople that are working within your organization. All right. Number 4 is Zoom, right? Zoom.us. That is the video conferencing tool. That is the tool that allows you to do virtual meetings, right, on video. Very, very popular tool, very, very affordable, right? It's a great tool to build and enhance rapport during the sales process. Zoho CRM, which is the other one we talked about, which is the sales repository. And then the bonus, again, was Owler. That's Owler.com. That is a sales intelligence gathering tool. It's an aggregator of sales intelligence and all kinds of information specific to any prospects or customers that you have. So those are the 6. I gave you 5 plus a bonus. I highly recommend you guys check those out. And if you're curious about becoming a freight broker or a freight agent, check out freightbrokerbootcamp.com. Trained over 10,000 students, been in business over a decade. I've personally done over $200 million as a freight broker, and we offer a 60-day, 100% unconditional money-back guarantee. That's for startups. If you're looking to just get started as a freight broker, freight agent, if you're looking for more advanced help in and around the sales arena and the sales tactics and tools and strategies and entire system, you should get on the wait list. I'm about to open up my Freight Broker Sales Accelerator program. That's my 5-week coaching program where I take that piece of my brain and I transplant it into your head. Everything about freight broker sales and how to get shippers as a freight broker, freight agent. You got to get on the wait list. It's the only way you can get enrolled. I have limited spots. We're going to bring in less than 100 people into this program this time. And you can get on the wait list at freightbrokerbootcamp.com/waitlist. Appreciate you guys being here. Have an awesome day, and we'll see you next week with another Freight Broker Bootcamp Live. But I want you to hang tight. Hang tight, because I got good news. Number one, we did the training. Number two, I'm going to do a free giveaway. I'm going to do a Freightpreneur t-shirt giveaway, okay? So we'll give away a Freightpreneur t-shirt. Someone who solves problems you don't know you have in ways you can't understand. Haven't given one of those away in a few weeks, so we will give one away today. And then we're going to do live Q&A, but hold your questions. Don't type your questions in the chat box, because if you do, they're not going to get answered, because I'm not ready to answer those questions, and they're going to scroll up in my feed, which moves very, very quickly, and I won't be able to find your questions. Okay, so hold your questions until I say we're going to start the Q&A. All right. So, question for you: sales tools. Does this type of topic, maybe if I did sales tools and marketing tools and productivity tools, different types of tools and software, and I apologize I couldn't show them to you on the screen. Minor technical difficulty. I don't know what the issue was. I updated my browser, so I don't know what happened. But ultimately, is that of more interest on a scale of 1 to 10? 1 meaning, hey, Dennis, I found no value in this. 10 meaning, hey, I love this type of content. I think having some episodes on different types of tools, there are thousands of different tools out there that I could bring to you from time to time to help enhance your business. Productivity tools, marketing tools, sales tools, data tools, all kinds of tools, collaboration tools, right? So team tools, all kinds of stuff that I could bring to you. But if you guys think that tools is an important part of your training and learning and growing your business, I'll start doing more of these episodes, these types of episodes. But this was kind of the foray into it, which is 5 sales tools, 5 Freight Broker sales tools to help you get more shippers in 2023 and beyond. Okay. All right, cool. So give me some feedback in the comments. Let me know if you guys think that these types of episodes would be valuable. Then we'll do a quick giveaway, and then we're going to jump into Q&A. Hold your questions to the end. Okay, so we're getting some good feedback. Awesome. All right, cool. All right, let's do a quick giveaway. Give me more feedback as I'm doing the giveaway. Anybody who wants a chance to win the Freightpreneur t-shirt, someone who solves problems you don't know you have in ways you can't understand, here's what I want you to do. Very, very simple. I want you to go to your smartphone, whether that be Apple or Android. I don't care which one it is. But what I want you to do is I want you to go to if you're on your Apple phone, pull up your Apple Podcast app and search for Freight Broker Bootcamp. Okay? If you search for it, you'll see my bald, shiny head. You'll see the logo there, right? I'm sorry, I can't get it any closer. All you need to do is rate, review, and subscribe. But you have to do all 3 of those things. Come back into the comments and let me know. Rate, reviewed, and subscribed on Apple. Now, if you're doing this on Spotify or Google or some other platform, that's fine too. All you got to do, find it on your mobile phone, come back in, rate, review, and subscribe, put it in the comments, and that's what's going to enter you for a chance to win the Freightpreneur t-shirt. It'll literally take you 60 seconds. Do that now. Pull out your smartphone on whatever podcast app. I don't care. Most people listen on Apple or Spotify or Google Podcasts. Those are probably the 3 biggest, but there are tons of podcast apps and services out there. I don't care where you do it. Just go in, search Freight Broker Bootcamp, rate, review, and subscribe. And then when you come back in, you got to say rated, reviewed, subscribed on. You can't just say done or subscribed. That's not going to qualify you. Rated, reviewed, subscribed on Apple. Rated, reviewed, subscribed on Spotify. Okay. I have to do this every single time, but some people it doesn't make any sense to them. But all right, cool. So we got some good feedback on today's episode. That's good. I strongly suggest you guys check out some of those tools. Yeah, I think they're extremely valuable. They'll definitely enhance your sales efforts. Some of them are more expensive than others. Some of them you're talking $15 a month. Some of them could be hundreds or even 1,000 or more a month, right? Depending upon where you are in your business. But you can plan into the future as you start to grow. Maybe getting some more advanced tools would be beneficial to you. So who is interested in enrolling to win the Freightpreneur t-shirt? Someone who solves problems you don't know you have in ways you can't understand. You got to let me know. rate, review, and subscribe. All you got to do is pull out your smartphone right now. Pull out your podcast app. If you're on Apple, just pull out the Apple. There's a purple podcast app. All you got to do is pull down, search podcasts, and it'll come up. It's a purple app. You open it up, and then you just search for Freight Burger Bootcamp. Come in, rate, review, and subscribe. Connor did it. Awesome. Again, one thing. I should have mentioned this before. I do not ship these overseas. It's U.S. only. I don't do international shipping on these. As you can imagine, the shipping is more than the shirt itself. Okay. And I just can't get myself to do it. So you have to be in the U.S. Sometimes I give away cash. That doesn't matter. You can be anywhere in the world for that as long as you have a PayPal account. But today, I'm actually going to give away the t-shirt, Freightpreneur t-shirt. So you have to be in the United States. But please go in and hit me up, rate, review, and subscribe. All right, we got Derek Jones. We've got Connor. Who else wants a chance to win the t-shirt? All you got to do is literally go in and rate, review, subscribe. It's an honor system. So just pull it up in your smartphone. Once we do this giveaway, we are going to do live Q&A. So hang tight. Okay, I'm going to do live Q&A, which means you can ask me any questions you have about starting, growing, building a successful freight broker or freight agency. I'll do my absolute best to try to answer those questions. Okay, cool. All right, so we're getting some good feedback. All right, so we got a few people that have that are interested in the t-shirt. Who else? Let me know. Rebecca, you got to let me know where you rated, reviewed, and subscribed, okay? You got to let me know where. Apple, Spotify, Google, wherever. Pandora, I don't know. Okay, cool. All right. All right, so we're just waiting. Cool. All right. All right, so we got one more minute, and then we're going to give this away. Then we're going to jump into Q&A, so hang tight. All right. Hey, you guys like my my new decoration? I'm not sure if I like it or not. I'm probably going to move it if I do keep it. It was just something kind of a whim expense. I said, maybe I'll put something in the background to try to dress it up a little bit, but I've got to change the frame a little bit, but I thought it was kind of cool. It wasn't that expensive. It was only a few $100. All right, cool. So here we go, guys. We're going to pick one winner. I'm going to randomly select one winner. And here we go. The winner is Derek Jones, rated, reviewed, subscribed on Apple Podcasts. Derek Jones, congratulations. You are the winner. Thank you so much for playing along. Listen, all I need you to do, Derek, is to hit me up in either on LinkedIn. You can hit me up on LinkedIn because we've had a conversation. So I need you to tell me your full name, your mailing address here in the U.S., your size. This is unisex sizing, small, medium, large, extra large. Okay. And that you won the podcast subscribe t-shirt giveaway. Okay. Full name, address, size, and that you won the podcast subscribe t-shirt giveaway. Appreciate you playing along, and I look forward to continuing our conversation we had late last week. And listen, for those of you that want to hang around, we're going to jump into live Q&A. So feel free. Thank you, everybody who played along. Appreciate it. You can't lose because there's over 100 free trainings on my podcast. Okay. They're all audio. You can listen to them when you're riding your bike, when you're on the treadmill, when you're driving your car, when you're sitting by the pool, like I was this weekend. Whatever you want to do, it's just put some earbuds in your ear or turn up the radio, and you can listen to these best of the best trainings. And I highly recommend. We got great feedback from people, so thank you so much for everybody who's been a part of that. If you guys have questions, whether it be about these tools that I talked about today, or whether it be about sales, or my Freight Burger Sales Accelerator that's coming up, the coaching program that's about to open up, whatever you want to talk about today, hit me up in the comments now with the question, and we will dive in and do our best to try to get to as many questions as we can. Here's what I know for sure. We won't get to all the questions today. There's always more questions than there is time. So, thank you, Ozan. My hand is coming along. You can see the scar is still kind of there. There's still some swelling, but I am getting the flexibility back in it. It's a lot slower than I thought. but I do appreciate you asking, Ozan. I appreciate it. For those of you that don't know, I had surgery about, I don't know, man, it's going on 2 months now on my hand for what's called trigger finger. It's where your finger bends and locks in place and you can't get it out. You got to manually pull it out. It's a weird kind of thing. But they had to come in and do surgery on my hand, but it seems to be coming along. Thank you for asking. I appreciate it. All right. So Mike asks, how do new brokers build credit on load boards within 120 days? Do they have their own internal credit reporting method, or do truckers report back to them that they are paid? Okay. So Mike, I'm going to point you in the right direction where you can, of a student of mine who actually did this hands-on and built his credit to like a credit within like, I don't know, there's like 30 to 60 days on the load boards. Okay. So I am going to share with you, all you need to do is go to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/freight broker, freight brokers. Let me see. Here it is. youtube.com/freight brokers. And within my videos on my channel, search for credit. All right. Build credit, credit fast, something like that, build credit. And we did an entire training on it. It's a free training. Okay. So that would be what I would recommend. Go through that because Elio Longoria, who's his first year built a 7-figure freight brokerage. He had no experience. He took Freight Broker Bootcamp. He was a part of the program. He's now got a, I don't know what, I haven't talked to him in, it's been 4 or 5 months now. So I don't know what he's doing this year, but I know last year his first year, he had done about $1 million in sales. And I know he's the kind of guy who's going to ramp this up. I wouldn't be surprised if in a few years, Elio was doing 10 million plus. Okay. So check that out on youtube.com/freight brokers. Okay. And if you guys aren't subscribed to my YouTube channel yet, you're absolutely crazy. Subscribe to the YouTube channel and make sure you hit the all notifications bell because I put new video trainings out multiple times per week. Okay. Plus I do lives. It's that free repository. I've got hundreds of free trainings on there. And I put new trainings out all the time. Okay. So you make sure you're subscribed and you click the all notifications bell. Okay. Good question. I think that's how I can best serve you with that question. Cause it's not something that's a short answer here, but there's a step-by-step breakdown for any of you that are interested in learning how to build your credit fast as a freight broker. Kevin G asks, can I do freight broker remotely, even if I'm outside the United States? I travel a lot. That's why I ask. Kevin, yes, you can. Absolutely. We have all you really need to be a freight broker. Number one, you got to get licensed. If you can't get licensed as a freight broker, then you can operate as a freight agent, which is an independent contractor that works under a broker, right? So you're still your own business owner. You still control your own schedule and you make 50 to 70% of the profit. But if you want to be a broker and you get your broker authority, you can go be anywhere. All of the tools that I just shared with you and all of the tools that freight brokers are using are almost all web-based. So all you need is a decent internet access and a phone. There are brokers and agents operating all around the world, right? Europe, Africa, India, the UK, Canada, South America. I mean, I've had students who have bought my training in 16 different countries. I know that numerous of those countries, we have students that are doing 6 or 7 figures. I probably should make a list of that. But yeah, you can absolutely do it remote. And most people do it from home when they first get started. So that's remote in itself. You don't need to be in an office. So yeah, good question, Kevin. Tiffany asks, hey, Dennis, how do you suggest keeping struggling new freight agents motivated? Okay. All right. You might not like this answer. Okay. I'm not in the motivation game. Nope. Motivation. If you have to motivate people, especially independent freight agents that are business owners or want to be business owners, if you have to motivate them, it's a never-ending cycle. If they rely on you to motivate them and they're not self-motivated, that is a huge red flag. Okay. So again, you may not like this answer, but you asked my opinion. So I'm going to give you my opinion. I'm not in the motivation business, but I don't mind being in the inspiration business. So what's the difference? Inspiration is them being inspired by my actions and the results of my actions. So if I want to inspire somebody to go out and get more customers, what's the best way to do that? Go out and get more customers. Show them it's possible, right? Break through those mental barriers that they get into where they're like, oh, well, the market's down. Nobody's getting customers. Nobody's taking my calls. Well, if you want to inspire somebody, inspiration lasts longer than motivation. Motivation is temporary. Okay. If they're not self-motivated, the likelihood of them surviving in any business climate is going to be slim to none and slims out to lunch. Okay. So I'm not in the motivation business. You notice I'm not a motivational speaker. I'm not up here giving you these rah-rah speeches every week. That's not what I do. All right. That's not what I do. I bring on other students to inspire you. I tell you stories that help inspire you from my past and my current, right? But I'm not in the motivation business. If they want to be motivated, go to Instagram. There's all kinds of motivational quotes and videos on there. But that's not what I do. And I don't think it's a good use of your time either. So sorry about the hard love, but that's the real answer from me. Jabir asks, how do you use Zoom Info more effectively? Please show over your computer screen if possible. I'm not going to be able to show you over my computer screen because I don't subscribe to Zoom Info because I don't need Zoom Info because I'm not a broker any longer. I sold my brokerage. Okay. So I don't have access to Zoom Info. But I'm sure if you go to zoominfo.com, they have demos. They have, videos showing it. I'm sure if you look on YouTube, there's all kinds of videos showing the insides of Zoom Info. Zoom Info is a data company that allows you to get access to an enormous amount of company data, including the company information, as well as all of the contacts within there. People in the logistics department, people in warehousing, whatever department you're looking for, they have access to that data. Okay. So I can't give you a walkthrough on it because I don't subscribe to it because that's not my business any longer. I have totally different set of tools because this is more of an online education business. So I have tools associated with that. But when I had my brokerage, we had all kinds of tools that allowed to give us access to data, right? So hope that helps. Taryn Beer asks, when is the right time to hire contracted agents which are paid strictly through commission as a new broker? Well, my opinion is this. I'll tell you my own personal experience. I started my brokerage in 2003, late 2003, early 2004, full 2004. We had our own inside sales team and operations team for the first 3 years of my business. We didn't start hiring agents until the end of 2006. Now, why did I wait so long? I waited 3 years. Number one, I needed to wait longer because I needed to build cash flow. I needed to build systems around onboarding customers, onboarding carriers, doing all that. I had to build a product, meaning a product is in an agent program that was valuable enough to attract quality candidates, quality agents, right? And so that took a few years. I wasn't in a rush. I knew we were going to launch an agent program from virtually day one, but it took a few years to put those pieces in place. Year one, we did $1 million. Year two, we did $3 million. Year three, we did $6 million. So we were doing about $6 million a year in sales before we ever hired our first agent. Now that's my personal story. That may not be yours, but here's what I do recommend. I do not recommend hiring agents out of the gate. You as the broker should have your own customers. You should have your own systems. You should have your own revenue, your own profit, your own technology in place, where you have everything flowing. The machine is greased, right? Everything is moving along. You're building your credit. You've got good technology. And that would be the earliest point that I would tell you to bring on agents. Okay. Because there's a lot of misconception out there from people that believe that they can just start a freight brokerage, go get their freight broker authority, hire a bunch of agents and go and make millions of dollars. And it doesn't work that way. Okay. Because you do not have a product yet that's designed to attract quality agents or to retain agents, right? So you have to build that product, and that product is your brand, is your marketing, is your sales systems, is your operational systems, your customer onboarding, your carrier onboarding, your credit, your financial management. All of those things need to be put in place into a nice, neat package so that you can then share that package with potential agents, and then they see value in offloading that back office to you, allowing them to just focus on their clients. Because that's the reality of what a freight broker, freight agent partnership is. The broker handles the back end, the agent handles the front end interface with customers, carriers, and loads. So I hope that helps. Secondary question there was, do I have to have logistics background or good logistics knowledge to really be successful as a freight agent? No, I didn't. Most of the students that you hear success stories from, Freight Broker Bootcamp success story students, none of them had, not none of them, most of them didn't have experience in freight brokerage at all, right? I didn't have any experience in trucking, logistics, warehousing, freight brokerage, or any of that. So you absolutely can. That's why I put the training in place. That's why I put Freight Broker Bootcamp in place. Because when I was trying to get started, the information was sparse and it was disjointed. A little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit here, some contradicting, wasn't quite sure. And so I went out and hired a consultant. I spent about 10 grand for him to come spend a week with me, right? A highly experienced, well-known, reputable consultant come in and take my existing plan and kind of poke holes in it and try to fill in the things that I didn't quite know, that I couldn't connect the dots on. And it was the best $10,000 I had ever spent because it gave me the confidence to know that I was going in the right direction and I was ready to go. I put that in Freight Broker Bootcamp. Now, I spent $10,000. You can get started for $185 on freightbrokerbootcamp.com with a gold 1-year unlimited access membership. You can check that out again at freightbrokerbootcamp.com. Trained over 10,000 students, right? Many of them have went on to build 6- and 7-figure businesses. Okay. So I hope that helps. Okay. Question. Okay. Valeria asks, I'm looking for a training program to become a broker. I would love to start my own business, but looking into which is better, dispatch or broker. Well, if you're asking me, brokerage is better. Why? The reason why it's better is because you control the customer, meaning the shipper. So you control the shipper. The margins are better, right? Much better margins, profit margins. And there's no gray area. If you are a licensed freight broker, you are a licensed freight broker. There is no licensed dispatcher. There's still some gray area there of what's legal, what's not legal. I know the FMCSA put some guidelines out for dispatchers to try to stay on the legal side, but to me, it's just not worth it, to be extremely honest with you. I think the bigger opportunity, the bigger upside is in brokerage. So those are my 2 cents, but I'm biased. I was a freight broker. I've trained tens of thousands of freight brokers, and I don't teach dispatch. There's a reason why I don't teach dispatch. Dispatch is not hard, okay? But there's a reason why I don't teach it. So hint, hint. All right, scrolling. Okay, Brunt has a question. When do you think import-export market will be on track, and when this recession will over? Going really slow this year, already no work at all. Suggest how I get back on track and get to customers. Okay, so Brunt, if you think about where we are in the global economy, and if you look at the economic data globally over the last 30 years. Okay. This is what it looks like. Up, down, up, down, up, down. There are always and will always be up markets and down markets. Okay. That's how it is. It never stays this way forever. Now, we are coming off of an extreme record upside in freight volume and freight rates and all kinds of, different data points and variables. We're coming off of that, right? So the freight volume is taking a dip. But here's the thing, guys. Here's what you have to understand. Don't believe all the hype and all the media and all the Debbie Downers on YouTube and Instagram and TikTok, right? There's still a shit ton of freight out there. And as a freight broker, you are positioned to profit from that freight better than anybody. Because whether freight rates are up or freight rates are down, okay, you can still make a middle of 10 to 20%. Sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less. But the fact is, regardless of whether freight rates go up or down, brokers are positioned to profit best. Again, you're not a carrier. You don't have to carry all that cost associated with drivers and insurance and, truck payments and trailer payments and all the maintenance and all the fuel, right? And the fact is, brokers don't determine the rates. You simply carve out a middle, right? That's why it's called brokering. So yeah, don't believe all the hype. Of course, there has been a freight downturn, but it's not like we've went through, a few years ago, we were at the same volume as we are, let's call it 3, 4, 5 years ago, we were probably at the same volume as we are now. But because we're coming off of a peak, it seems like it's a huge dip, right? But here's the thing, guys, the best time to get shippers, and I've said this before and I'll say it again, volatility in the market creates opportunities. When the market goes up quickly and there's a lot of volatility, right? When rates are going up quickly, volumes going up quickly, there's a lot of opportunities for freight brokers because that volatility causes issues within shippers that make them more willing to add a new vendor. The same thing when freight rates are going down. You got to understand, a lot of the carriers that shippers and brokers were using last year have now went out of business. Why did they go out of business? Because there was an overpopulation of carriers. There were too many carriers in the market. And what we're feeling is the shedding of those carriers. See, when the market was booming, all kinds of people went in and got their carrier authority and started buying trucks. And then once freight dropped, what happened was there wasn't enough freight to support all of those new carriers that came into the market. So now those carriers are exiting the market. And I'm not trying to be crass or cruel or mean, but the fact is, it's a necessary evil that some of those carriers and even brokers go out of business. And here's why. They have to, in order to create an equilibrium where the supply and demand is going to allow other companies to survive and to thrive, just like they have in past markets. Okay. So I don't want to get too complicated here, but your question was, when do I expect import exports to come back? I don't know. If I could predict that, I would be a gazillionaire like Forrest Gump. Okay. So I can't predict the future. All right. But here's what I can tell you. If you look at the economic data and you look at historically, what happens when you go into an economic downturn, AKA some people call it a recession, whatever the case may be, most of them are pretty short-lived, anywhere between 6 and 18 months. Now, we've been in this economic downturn for not just the last few months. We've been in this economic downturn since the government started raising interest rates to try to decrease inflation, right? Now that once inflation shot up, they started increasing interest rates, and then that started to slow down the economy. And so we've been seeing a pretty steady slowdown for a year now. or close to a year now, I think, or yeah, probably a year now. So I can't predict the future, but here's what I can tell you. To the victor goes the spoils, and don't fall victim to all of the Debbie Downers and naysayers that are telling you that there's no freight out there. There's plenty of freight out there. All right. There's just not the record numbers that there was before. I'm going to do an entire training on this, but I'm going to share a little bit of it with you now. You know, it's kind of like the difference between fishing and catching. Okay. Catching is when you stick your line out, you drop it down into a school of fish, and there's a bunch of hungry fish down there. And every time you drop your hook down, you pull up a fish. Okay. That's called catching because it doesn't require a lot of skill. It doesn't require good timing. It doesn't require a lot of skill. Okay. Because it's like shooting fish in a barrel, right? You're just catching. Now, the difference between catching and fishing requires skills. Okay. You have to have skills. You have to know the right place to fish, the location. You have to know the right time to fish. You have to have the right bait. You need to know how to cast, right? You need to know how to jig and troll and all the different skills associated with fishing. And so I'm using that analogy because when we had record freight, you know, any new broker or any broker could go out and get loads, right? It was super simple. But those markets don't last forever. Now, in this market, you have to learn how to fish, right? The reason why I created my Freight Broker Sales Accelerator program was to increase the skills and to give my students a full proven system on how to get customers in any market, up or down. So that's my Freight Broker Sales Accelerator. And again, I'm going to plug it because some of you are going to miss it and you're going to get mad at me, but you need to get on the wait list at freightbrokerbootcamp.com/waitlist. That wait list, you'll be the first to be notified when I launch the Freight Broker Sales Accelerator program. You'll get all the information. It's not a free program. It's not a cheap program. Matter of fact, the price is going to go up again, right? But the fact is, you'll get notified of all the information and get the first chance to enroll. But we do limit the spots. We typically limit to under 100 people. And I only open it up every few months, right? Every 3 to 6 months, I open it up. Last year, I think we put over 500 students through that program in the last year and a half. So yeah, so we're going to continue. That's the best program I've ever put together. It takes this entire piece of my brain, puts it into your head, and helps you leverage proven sales strategies, systems, and tools. Okay. So I'll get off my soapbox, go on to the next question. Good question. So thank you. Okay. Connor says, what percentage will you advise to pay for sub agents? Okay. So if I'm understanding your scenario, there's a freight broker and somebody is a freight agent working under that broker. And then that agent is hiring sub agents under them. So a lot of that's going to depend upon your commission that you're getting as an agent. Typically, agents that hire sub agents under them on a commission only basis will retain anywhere between 5 and 15% of their commission. So for example, if they're getting 60% commission from the broker, they might pay the agent 50%. Okay. And keep the 10% middle. And that's for helping training and supporting them as a sub agent. So yeah, that's kind of a typical. You want to make it worth your while, but you also can't gouge because remember, as they grow their book of business as a sub agent, they're going to have options to go out and start their own brokerage, right? Or not their own brokerage or their own agency direct. So, there's got to be a value proposition there where the cost that you're charging them to be a sales agent is valuable enough for them to stay. So hope that helps. Okay, Kevin GS, how much does the $75K surety bond cost as a broker? I read it's based on your credit score. Also, any specific insurance requirement to become a broker. Okay, so as a freight broker, if you want to be a licensed freight broker, one of the check boxes you got to get is a $75,000 freight broker surety bond. Now, it doesn't cost you $75,000. It's typically somewhere between 1 and 3% of the bond amount. So it's not uncommon if you have good credit to pay $1,000, maybe up to $3,000 for a bond. Okay. And that's just a range. Now, if you have bad credit, you could pay considerably more. You might pay $5,000 or even $10,000 a year for a bond if you have really bad credit. But if you have, like I had a student the other day got a bond and posted in our members only group, and I think they were under $1,000 for a bond, but they had really good credit. So the bond cost is heavily leveraged on your personal credit. Here's the good news. If you don't have good credit, you could still get a bond. It may cost you more, but if you can't afford that bond, the best option is to become a freight agent that works under a broker, because you don't need a bond. You don't need a license. You don't need insurance. You don't need any of that. If you're an agent working under a broker, and you typically get to keep 50 to 70% of the profit, depending upon the contract that you have and the commission plan that you guys have agreed upon. So yeah, if you can't get your bond for credit reasons or cash flow reasons, become a freight agent. It's the best gig in town. You have little to no risk, and you have a huge upside. I've already shared stories with you where I have agents that have been students of mine who have went on to make $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 a month in commission. I had agents that worked for me, and when I had my brokerage, that made over $100,000 a month in commission. Now, I can't promise you that, and most people will never attain that. Okay. So mileage may vary, but the fact is, if one man can do it, one woman can do it, another person can do it. Okay. So that's my suggestion. As far as insurance, you have no insurance requirements to become a freight broker. You don't need general liability. You don't need contingent cargo. You don't need errors and omissions. You don't need any of that. Those are all optional coverages. Okay. Those are all completely optional coverages that you can choose to get based upon your need. Question. Dennis, how much percentage of a monthly gross load pay is it okay to pay a person in shipping department to get you in? Well, operations at DSN Expedited, that's kind of a gray area. I'm all about getting referrals and paying people referrals. But the problem is, if they work within the organization themselves, so let's say it's ABC Manufacturing, and they're the shipping manager of ABC Manufacturing, you can't pay that shipping manager, or you shouldn't, right? Pay that shipping manager to give you loads. You shouldn't give the shipping manager that you're working with a commission for giving you loads, right? That's a conflict of interest. Right? Number one, he could easily get fired if it was ever found out. Number two, they could potentially try to sue you if they wanted to. So when I pay referral commissions, it's for people that don't work within the organization of the customer. Now, it would be different if, for example, they worked in a completely different department. So for example, if they were in the sales department and they referred me into the shipping manager, and then I developed a relationship, yeah, I think you could probably pay a referral commission on that, as long as they're not anyone who's in control or has significant influence over giving you the loads. You probably would be okay. As far as a percentage for referrals, if it's gross, right? I mean, there is no hard and fast, but you want to make sure it's worthwhile. So for example, if someone gave you a shipper that was worth $100,000 in gross sales, and let's say you were averaging 15% profit margins, that's about $15,000 in gross profit. How much of that are you willing to give the person who helped you get in the door, right? So if you paid them 1% on 100,000, that'd be $1,000, right? So that'd be $1,000 on 100,000. That's 1%. Is that unreasonable? No, I think that's pretty fair. That would be, I always did it as a lifetime commission. Maybe you would do a 0.5%, But remember, if that client gets to be $1 million client, you'd be paying them $10,000 a year. But is it worth it? If you're making 150 and you got to give back 10 to the guy who set you up or got you in the door, it's probably worth it. The key is I would make it residual, ongoing, and lifetime. That's how I set up referral programs. And a referral program, guys, just for those of you that aren't aware, if someone knows a shipping manager, logistics manager, someone who controls freight inside of someone in your target market, and they can refer you in directly, and they have a personal knowledge and they know that person. They're not just giving you a company name and phone number. They're giving you an introduction to that person. And you end up getting that customer, you should pay that person a referral fee. And it shouldn't be a one-time, hey, I'll give you $50, or hey, I'll give you $100, or hey, I'll give you a couple $100. That's too cheap. That's short-sighted, right? You need to motivate them to want to help you. And the way you do that is to draw the picture I just drew for you and explain to them, hey, listen, this could be an extra $1,000 a year if all we do is $100,000 a year in business, and that's not a big client. Because trust me, $100,000 a year is not a big client, right? That's still a pretty small client, all right? So I hope that helps. When do I expect the Sales Accelerator program? I would say you're putting my feet to the fire here. It'll probably open up in the next 2 to 4 weeks. Okay. And I'm going to say this, I'm being totally honest with you. It's going to sell out in less than a week. It'll probably sell out in a few days. Okay. It always does. It's going to sell out in a few days. All right. So you got to get on the wait list. If you're not on the wait list, get on the wait list. It's free to get on the wait list. You'll get notified immediately. You'll get full access to enroll, be one of the first to enroll and reserve your spot, but you got to be on the wait list. Okay. So good question. Thank you for asking. All right, cool. Angel, I don't have an MC number. My old MC for the company that I started back in 2003 is 471231. I still remember it. It's called Logistic Dynamics. The company now does close to $500 million a year. I grew it to about 80 million a year in sales and sold it. And then the people that were in my management team and new ownership have went on to continue to grow that company. It's called Logistic Dynamics, also known as LDI. But I no longer have a brokerage because I sold it in 2016. But I've been training brokers in my Freight Broker Bootcamp program since 2009. That's why we've trained over 10,000 brokers this last year. And those are all startups. And then this last year, maybe year and a half ago, I launched my Freight Broker Sales Accelerator program, which is my advanced Freight Broker sales training program and system. And that's what we were just talking about, which is the 5-week live coaching program where I actually become your coach and mentor for 5 weeks. Okay. And teach you my entire Freight Broker sales system. So, all right, I got through all the questions today, which is amazing. We're going to wrap it up. It's 1:04. Thank you so much for being here. Listen, if you guys enjoyed this training and you want me to come back week after week, here's what I would ask you to do. Here's the price of admission. Number one, hit the like button no matter where you're at. Do that right now. Number two, share the stream. If you're on Facebook, share the stream. If you're on LinkedIn, share the stream. Wherever you are, share the stream. Do me a favor. Truly appreciate it. Like, comment, share. If you're not subscribed on YouTube, make sure you subscribe on the YouTube channel and hit the all notifications bell. If you guys are curious about becoming a freight broker or a freight agent, check out freightbrokerbootcamp.com. Again, trained over 10,000 students. We offer a 60-day, 100% unconditional money back guarantee. There's nobody in the industry that does that, just so you know. I'm the only person that I've seen in the entire freight brokers training industry that offers a 60-day unconditional money back guarantee. Why do I do that? Because I have faith in my product, right? I have faith in the results that my students have gotten, and I know we'll support you every step of the way. So check it out at freightbrokerbootcamp.com. Have an awesome day. Have an awesome week. We'll see you next Monday with the next Freight Broker Bootcamp Live. Thanks for being here. Take care, guys, and we'll talk to you soon.